Zombie Brain podcast time. Venz, what up, dude?
Yo.
We're going to be talking about Deathgarden shutting down. Apparently, not enough players, and they decided to move devs to other projects. And Venz has a lot of time in this, so I'm going to start reading through some of the negative reviews first, and then we're going to move to positive reviews, and we're going to see what he has to say about some of the reviews. Alright, so the first negative review we have here is December 23rd. So after they already announced that the servers were going to be, the game's dying. The devs gave up on this game. I paid money, and so did a lot of people, and they just take it and give up. The game had a lot of potential. I enjoyed it, but the fact that they are tossing it out makes me very angry. What do you have to say about that one?
So, a lot of people are saying this. I don't think that the developers gave up on the game. They can't just give up on the game. Behavior probably had something specific in hand to do with this. They had something up higher in like the chain of command or whatever, not chain of command, but the like CEO, maybe not the CEO, somewhere around there had something to do with Death Guarding shutting down. They I can't. Fuck it. Can you just cut it?
Yeah.
I'm getting spam called. Like,
Yeah.
can you hear that?
Yeah.
That's annoying the hell out of me. One sec.
Ring a ding ding. Rip the fucking phone out of the wall. It's a good outtake, honestly.
God damn that!
Dude, I'm using
like,
that as an outtake. I hope you know. That's like the funniest shit, dude. I was
like I
dying.
couldn't. I kept repeating the same damn shit because I couldn't
Because the
focus.
phone, yeah, you're like, it's like, it's like that like double vision where you have like that one eye that like zooms into the phone and you're still trying to think and you're like, fuck
I was
off!
staring. I was staring at the phone the whole time. Like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. Please just stop ringing. Ugh.
All right, so we'll go into the next one.
Okay.
I knew this would happen. Behavior tried to get away with making Dead by Daylight a second time. So like this was always talked about. Like when this was announced, people were saying they compared it to Dead by Daylight hard, dude. Just because I think Behavior was behind it again. You know what I mean? Like, but it was almost like everywhere you went, it was like this is DBD but with guns.
Everyone says that. Everyone has to compare the game to something. Everyone, like, every single asymmetrical game is being compared to Dead by Daylight in some way. It's like how every battle royale is at first compared to Fortnite. Is this Fortnite? No. Is this Dead by Daylight? No. It's so different from Dead by Daylight, and that's probably one of the main reasons why the game didn't do so well is because everyone that played it thought it was going to be Dead by Daylight, and it wasn't.
Okay. Dude, I was like holding my breath, trying not to speak because I don't want to keep moving my mic up and down because it shows it. Oh man. I was enjoying playing Deathgarden, but now to see this makes me very upset. I bought the game with real money. Not fucking Monopoly money, Venz. Real money. And now it's free. The devs have abandoned the game. Wouldn't recommend.
They didn't abandon the game. They gave it for free because the game was going to be shut down and they wanted at least as many people as possible to play it.
I win 95% as Hunter. Skill level not balanced enough, dude. You played a lot of Hunter, so I'm interested to see what you think of this.
I played about
Also,
half and
also,
half,
this was posted on December 23rd.
so it was posted about a month after it was closed.
Yep.
The So recently, it depends on who you're playing as. If you're playing as like Inquisitor with his turrets, it's very easy since you just place a turret, it points out the scavenger, you know where they are. And with their new mode that they came out with, which is harvest your exit, it wasn't that hard exactly. But if you're playing as like Stalker and you don't use the meta perks or the meta abilities, then it's gonna be a lot harder because you have a sniper rifle and a burst rifle and you have to find them on your own. You don't get assistance.
See,
It
I played the dude with the mines. What's his name? People are gonna roast me now because I can't remember his name, but
Poacher.
yeah, I played Poacher like constantly, dude. And that I didn't have any more fun than playing Poacher, dude. Poacher was fucking rewarding when people would just like roll into his mines. Like it didn't seem like when I played that Hunter was OP at the time, but maybe it was and I just didn't realize it. But I also didn't play it to the point that you did, and I
Yeah,
didn't put
the
enough time into the game to be like, okay, so like this is the rundown. Like I just kind of played it and enjoyed when I played it, you know?
Poacher was constantly considered one of the worst hunters.
Was he
That's
was
what
he
everyone
really?
kept saying. That's what everyone kept saying. I wouldn't agree, but then I don't really view as any of the hunters as a bad hunter or like the worst hunter.
Yeah.
In my eyes, I say Inquisitor's the best hunter. The other three are like even grounds.
Because I
But
had a hard time playing Stalker. That's the one with the sniper, right?
yes,
Yeah, I had a hard fucking time with her, man.
well, you had to aim, and
Yeah, well, I don't know
and
what it
with
was,
the
man, but
movement,
it's just
well,
because
the
like if they
movement of the
ran up to you
scavengers.
when you had the sniper, and then I guess you had the other gun too, but like I was trying to do some fancy shit, so they ran up to me with it. Oh, run up on me so as I'm trying to snipe and I couldn't fucking do nothing.
Well, it's because you're trying to hip fire with the sniper rifles. What game can you hip fire with a sniper rifle and
Hey, I'm not
generally
gonna
hit your
argue
target?
the logic, man. I'm just gonna say that that happened, and
Well,
I mean
yeah,
I
she
still
was one
enjoy.
of the harder to use.
Yeah, I still enjoyed playing them. Like I still enjoyed playing all the different characters. I don't believe I ever played Granny though.
She was just explosives, pretty
I played
much.
against her, I believe, but I don't believe I played her.
She was just explosives. She was fairly easy to get used to and fairly easy to play as. She was an intro level hunter.
But
And
would you say that like they were OP, like hunters were OP, like this guy's saying
at the end
99% of
at,
matches?
at the end of the life cycle, yes, hunters were fairly OP.
Devs of an already on balance game attempt to make another on balance game to make money. After a bunch of people try out the game, people realize it is even more busted than their previous title. Devs keep making big changes that are actually really minor things overall to keep people invested. Keeps saying things will get better and they are working on balance. Go fuck yourselves, you liars. I want my money back. I will never buy another game from your company again. What do
I
you
don't see them making many games in the future, to be honest. I feel like they're just going to stick with Dead by Daylight. Maybe make one more.
I believe they had a thing where they were doing a Game of Thrones thing at one point too.
I don't remember hearing about that.
We might have to talk about that at a different thing. 'Cause I'm almost certain that they were doing
Okay,
something
well,
on mobile with Game of Thrones, but I
well,
could be
I
wrong.
don't know about that. But the devs, the game was not balanced. I don't remember a single time when Deathgarden was fully balanced. But that's also, it's
To be
very hard
honest,
to
it's just
balance
the
an async
genre
game.
of the thing. It's like
Yeah,
nothing. It'll never be 100% balanced. It can't be.
you can't balance a 1 versus 4 because you can balance 1 versus 1. You can't balance 1 versus 4.
Yeah.
Since there's always going to be someone else, and even if you make it perfectly balanced in turn, it's going to be balanced 1 to 0.25. So you're going to be balancing it to quarter of a person so that you can make it an even 1-to-1 per teams. The game Death Garden didn't get balanced at all. The devs did say that they were working on fixes, and they kind of ignored a lot of the big problems that a lot of us were saying.
So they
So
really, at the end of the cycle, had no communication with the community whatsoever.
they went dev silent for almost 2 months, I think. They posted that they were making the update on, was it end of, I don't remember if it was end of October or early October. And then nothing until they said, this is the end of Death Garden, late November. No, because they also were posting quite constantly on Twitter that like all the community support and all that stuff. And then they just went completely silent and then just come out of nowhere, we're ending Death Garden.
Yeah, that I could see where like some of these reviews are coming from. Then you know what I mean? Like if they had been more vocal with the community, you know, I think that it could have went a different way. And like a lot of these reviews are mostly people saying like, "Yo, I bought this game, but now it's free to play, so I feel robbed." And a lot of people are saying even like it's almost criminal what they're doing. There's one
It's not criminal.
when we get to it. Hold on, let me try to find it real quick. You talk real quick. I'm gonna try to find this.
Okay, but like it's not criminal. Like the game is going away. Like, they're making it free so that people can enjoy the game. Like anyone can enjoy the game before it gets shut down. So that say you loved the game. Say I loved the game. I loved the game, and I had friends that I wanted to play the game before it was completely gone. I can get them in and not have to pay the money for it.
Okay, here's the one that I was trying to find. So This person has 1.9 hours on record, just to state that. It was posted on December 22nd. Um,
Okay.
Absolutely criminal. Almost scummy that it's almost scummy than Fallout 76. But you guys don't make successful games, so
Well, ask the 20,000 consistent players of Dead by Daylight. They might not like what they're playing, but they're still playing it.
yeah, and that's the thing when
Like
people always say like, "Well, Dead by Daylight's gonna die," even with no matter what they do to changes, bro. Dead by Daylight, I don't believe in my eyes is ever going to die
they can't kill it.
unless another rival comes out and somehow takes out the competition. Like they won't die, man. There's nothing to.
from what it looks like, they're trying to kill their game and it's not working.
Okay, so another one. Scumbag developers stole customers' money, abandoned and closed down their newest game, which was still less than a year within early access, and refunded or refused to compensate owners. Screw Behavior Digital. I will boycott every game they release. So a lot of people are pissed with the company, man. Like they're legitimately taking this all out on the company.
Well, yeah, they're fairly consistent in not working with their viewers or player base. Viewers, their player base,
I mean, another
because
one, dude. Absolute clown fiesta. I've lost confidence in Behavior. Ain't gonna buy shit from them ever again. You know what I mean? So it's like it's almost like this ruined a lot of potential future projects. And
that's what they're saying now, and then a new game comes out and they'll forget about what they're saying.
yeah, it definitely
They'll,
could be that way, but
they're going to eventually check out the game. Like, if Behavior comes out with another game, even if they're saying they're boycotting it, they're going to look into it. You're going to at least want to know what they're making. And if it looks good, you're still going to go for it.
I
It's
bought
like
this game,
saying,
dude.
I'm going to boycott Apple because like they gave me something that was completely broken and they come out with like this absolute new technology that like everyone has. You're going to get it.
I bought this
Like,
game hoping that it would be progressed as good as DBD, which I'm not starting on that. I saw a lot of potential back then.
just gonna skip that. All right, whatever.
I gave
But
another copy to my friend so we can play together. It was fun, but still needs improvement here and there. Now
well,
they
yeah,
told
the
us they're
game needed a lot of improvement.
yeah, and it was obviously going to come, if it had continued. Now they told us they're going to shut down the servers because they tried everything, while still making it on balance, and said that the server costs a bunch of money, which of course it does cost money. Do you believe
Yeah,
it or
server
not?
costs money. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't just run a server for free.
yeah,
Like it takes up space. It takes up rent. It takes up like running space. You can't just say, "Well, it doesn't cost me anything to run the game. I'll just keep it up forever." You can't do that.
then made it free to play in the end of the year with no compensation whatsoever because they totally owe you compensation. I'm just saying. Like you bought the game, you enjoyed it for probably what's this guy got on record? 1.2 hours. You might have been late to the party, so
Yeah, well, I mean, if you bought the game and you only put 1.2 hours on record, I'm just gonna say you probably bought it way before they put their message out that it was free to play, and you didn't play it then.
he
You
posted it.
didn't
He posted
support the
this on
game.
December 16th.
It was already free to play at that point, but like they got the game, they paid money for the game, unless you had like the most bad time, the worst timing you could have with the game, where it's like you bought the game, the next day it went free to play. That that's probably something that you should have if any sort of refund from Steam. But otherwise, you probably got the game months prior. You didn't support the game when you could have. They went down because they didn't have player base. It and now you're gonna come back and make a comment that it's free now. I want my money back. You should have talked about
Oh
it when
man,
you got the game.
man, let me just butt in here because it gets even better, man. This guy. Okay, so not even a fucking apology on the last letter, which I'm pretty sure they did have something of an apology on the last letter.
Their last letter was an apology.
Okay, see.
It's like it was an apology to their community for not being able to.
Behavior
What?
Digital is a fucking joke. Thanks for shattering my trust.
Yeah, that person probably still plays Dead by Daylight. Not gonna lie.
You know what? You're probably not even wrong, man. Like a lot of people that bash. I mean, I've probably had my fair share of bashing on Dead by Daylight, but of course I'm still gonna play it here and there. It's just one of those
Yeah,
games,
like
man.
it's Behavior sucks. I'm never gonna play their game. Doesn't even know that Dead by Daylight's made by Behavior and goes to play it.
Here we
It's
go.
what most of these people are going to be like.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the time I spent on the game, but the various issues the game had, including variation between runners and hunters and the lack of unlockable things, made it where the only reason I would have to play it was to mess around with a few friends. Posted on December 31st.
There wasn't much to aim for in the game. You could try to get prestige on your champ. Wow, you could try to get prestige on your scavenger or your hunter, but other than that, if you played a lot and you tried to spend your extra blood or extra nanoparticle ink, which is the NPI, which is like the honeycomb thing, you didn't have anything to spend it on. You could spend it on skins, but they cost so little,
Dude, you know what's
and there
funny
wasn't
too
many.
with that is like I always had the problem of never having enough iron. And like
That's
all
what
my friends had iron, like they just had a shitload of iron but nothing else, but I had everything else but no iron. Like I don't know how the fuck that even happened, to be honest.
So that happens with the people who had a ton of iron were ones that kept jumping around between different scavengers and or hunters. The people who didn't have a lot of iron were ones that were focusing on one scavenger or hunter.
And I was,
Because
yeah.
the farther you got in upgrading your challenges or perks, the more iron it would cost. It wouldn't start costing iron until 6. And then it would cost like 100 iron, then a couple hundred iron, 600 iron, and then 1,000 iron, and you don't get much iron beyond that. And with Hunter, you're spending thousands of iron.
We got this guy with 8.4 hours. Fuck the devs doing an EA move.
Well, I mean, it's kind of true.
Yeah, for real, right?
I can't really rebut that.
Devs never knew what they were doing. 0.2 hours on record, December 19th.
Okay, so that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He probably played like 2 games. But I can't really agree or disagree with that because from what we saw, they never posted like a roadmap. Like most developers post some sort of roadmap where it's like, we're going to address this, we're going to address this, and then we're going to post or send out a big chapter right here. And then we're going to fix it, and then another big chapter or like drop of content. They didn't tell us what they were doing. They would just drop something when they were done it. And we just got it. Since we were getting it once every like 3 weeks, we were okay with it. But once they started going quiet and everything went down, they didn't tell us anything. It didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. So I can't really agree or disagree with that.
All right, we got 9 hours on record, December 20th. It's faster than DBD and makes the same amount of fun. The controls are really good. The graphics are good. No one is broken. I don't know what the
I
fuck
think
that means.
I think that's probably like no one is extremely overpowered.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's exactly what that
Maybe.
is. Saying it's free to play is a good thing, but I really dislike that all my money is gone without it getting anything. Really like the game, but the negative thing for me, my opinion, really heavy. But wait, what? Really like the game, but the negative thing is for me, my opinion, really heavy.
Huh?
I don't understand that. But I would
I
recommend it now to a new player.
and that's a down.
Yeah, that's
It's
a.
a negative. That's
This
a
is the
don't
last negative
recommend.
that we're going over. I don't.
I that sounds like a positive to me. Like if you're gonna
Really.
recommend I know you probably got cheated out of a little bit of your money, but you gotta also keep in mind the game was $15 for 3 codes of the game. It wasn't $60 for 1 code of the game. So
All right, so we'll take a quick short break here, and we'll come back with some positive reviews to end the episode here out.
right.
Okay. Welcome back from the break there. Hopefully you like that outtake. So positive review time. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Sad to hear about this title going out. The servers are up until the end of 2019. Achievement hunters thinking of it, you should start this game. If you have one full day to play this, then yes, you should. It takes around 6 to 8 hours to 100% this game if you understand the game concept. What do you think about that, first of all?
Well, I don't know the trophies off the top of my head, but I know that I got them just on accident. I never went for a single one of them, and I got all of them.
Is this
They
game
just
good? Surprisingly, yes. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Even if solo queue and with friends, it's 10 times more fun. Not like other games which went free to play because it was shit. but the development and server cost was higher than the revenue team was getting, I think. And I still think they could have implemented a game as a service model like Paladins for only skins. I am very surprised so few people played this gem. What do you
Well, they didn't get far enough to be able to do like spend money for skins. They weren't far enough in the development cycle, at least since the re-release of it, for them to be able to sell skins in game.
Yeah,
They
they
needed to
they
at least
really
get the player
recently
base.
get cosmetic shop open anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, they released that a little bit before Granny was released, I believe. So they only had that out for a few months,
Yeah, so they
and
weren't
they
gonna
didn't want
definitely not
to.
sell skins. Other than the
Yeah,
Terminator was like the only thing.
they kept stating that they didn't want to have purchases in the game until they had fixed the game, and they never really completely fixed the game, so they never put in purchases.
Well, at least they did that though. At least they weren't scumbags. Like the game's dying, they know it, but I'm gonna get some more cash real quick.
I mean, technically, the Terminator skin is still on
Yeah,
Steam
it
right
is
now, and you
actually for
can
like
buy it.
$2.99.
Yeah, well, and then you, I don't even know where the money would be going. Probably straight to the developers, or not even developers. Probably straight to behavior, and they won't see anything
Yeah,
about it.
100%. Continuing this, it's quite a long one. How does the game work? Deathgarden Bloodharvest is a asymmetric cat and mouse game like Dead by Daylight, but much more fun, minus the horror angle. Five agility runners use their speed and abilities to slow down the heavily armed hunter while completing objectives. Hunters play in first person using a mirage of weapons to shoot down runners. Runners, on the other hand, play in third person with enhanced movement and stun abilities, and hunters are invincible.
Wait. Uh, when was this made? When was
December
that?
14th, but edited on the December 18th.
So I don't know where they're coming from when they say stun abilities and to stop the hunter. There's nothing that directly affects the hunter. There's like you get smoke
I
that cuts
believe
out
that
line
was
of
the
sight,
old
but
game, which is weird to me.
yeah, that's the original
But
version. That's a
he,
year or so old.
this is December 14th, posted the first time, 2019.
That's
Updated
not
December
well.
18th,
This
2019.
unless they got access to the original version.
Some
No,
time traveler shit or something. If he's,
they
I
just
don't
went
know.
to the developers and told them to release the old game, and they did.
So don't think you can kill them, the hunters.
Yeah,
Complete the
well, you
objectives and
can't.
you get experience to level up your character. Graphics are stunning. Gameplay is awesome. Story is
There was a
subtle
story.
but
There was.
understandable. I don't know how. Some of this English is kind of. Tutorial could have been better. Look on YouTube on how to play a character. Will be more helpful than in-game hints. So like that maybe that's saying that like they didn't put enough tutorial stuff in the game. Would you say?
You got like 6 slides basically of how to play hunter and how to play scavenger, like
So
respectively.
is it almost like when you would play Dead by Daylight for the first time and you'd see like those things at the bottom, remember? And it would tell you like all the different facts
More or less, yeah. And like you know how you could get a tutorial.
or hints,
Dead by
not
Daylight,
facts.
if you create a new account, you get straight into a tutorial, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first started playing, there wasn't a tutorial. You just got straight into the game and you had to go with it. So,
Okay, and then we got the downside.
same.
The game's only flaw is balancing, which of course we've already talked about this. It's going to happen with any game like this.
It's a pretty big flaw, though.
Yeah, it is. One of the most frustrating aspect is when you go against a healer. Two healers can literally dance in front of you and you have to stand there and watch. Because when you down one, another one can instantly heal their partner before you can recycle execute them.
True and untrue.
Alright,
Like,
explain that.
it was so awkward with it. Like, you could get knocked into the air. Say you were climbing a tree, you got shot, now you're ragdolling through the air, and then someone direct shots you with a heal arrow. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We had no idea how it was actually taken. Some people tried to test it if you bounced off a tree, if you bounced off an object, then you could get revived. You had to wait like quarter of a second. So like if you ran at two healers, say you're poacher and you have a shotgun, you shoot them and then you go up and immediately go to recycle. If you're fast enough, you can stop the heal because for some reason the heal just doesn't go off immediately.
Huh. Okay. And then the guy says, I know the devs won't see this, But I hope if they ever come back to this, then please give a 5 to 10 second delay to the healer when healing downed enemies. Like he's just giving them the
Five
final
to
like
10 seconds.
he's like,
5 to 10 seconds.
well, I mean,
What?
already, dude, we're already talking about a game that probably isn't gonna come back in this form ever again, and he's trying to tell them at the last second of the game like this is how it should have been. Like it's not gonna probably
Well,
come back.
5 to 10 seconds is so long. Imagine 5 to 10 seconds. You just got shot in the back. You ragdolled. You're thrown across the field. The hunter, now had time to catch up to you. This is just 5 seconds. The hunter now can catch up to you, do the full recycle animation. You got respawned. That's 5 seconds.
And then to end his thing out, he said, "I would give this game a game." Oh, Jesus Christ, the English sometimes. I would give this
You can
game
do it. I
as a
believe in you.
game an 86 rating, 80% 6 rate.
I don't believe in you.
Hopefully, the player base rises and the development team reconsiders reviving this game, or at least keeps the servers up. See, the servers aren't going to stay up if the game's not going to it's not going to happen.
Their servers are being shut down,
Yeah.
and they're keeping the assets internal. So they have plans for the assets. What plans they are to make a new game or to be put into another game, we don't know. But they're keeping
Interesting.
the assets
Sherlock
from
Holmes that shit. Somebody figure
I don't
this shit out, man.
figure out what they're gonna do with those assets. We all want to know. All I know is that I asked Marilu if it was ever gonna be turned into a battle royale, and she said no. That's all I got out of it.
Thank
That
fucking God.
we aren't getting a Deathgarden battle royale.
Thank fucking God for that.
We don't need behavior working on a battle royale.
Dude, could you? I'm done. I'm not even gonna start talking. Another person. This has been one of my favorite games, and so sad to see it go. Rip Deathgarden. Of course, people sad because they really enjoyed the game.
Everyone that put in a decent portion of hours shared a very sad moment when we all read that first message. We all knew it was coming, but none of us wanted to accept it.
Another one. I really loved this game when it first came out. I'm sad to see it go because it had so much potential, which I've read a lot of. It had definitely had potential, but
A lot of people are saying it had potential. It did have potential. It had so much to go with it. It's just things weren't done in the right order.
this game was very special. Dead by Daylight, but with guns. Kind of
It wasn't.
perfect. I know.
It wasn't
That's what
Dead
I
by
was
Day.
talking to you about
It
earlier. Is it's
wasn't
always
Dead by
seems.
Daylight.
I know it always seems like what I was saying. They always seem. If I'd
Do you
written
see
a
a
review,
pallet in Deathgarden? I don't see a pallet in Deathgarden. I can't smash a big piece of wood onto a guy with a gun's face.
if I had written a review, if the people who loved this game had written a review, would it have mattered? Bring the game, bring back a game like this one day, please.
They
100
might.
and
They might not.
110 hours, January 6th.
They might. They might not. We have yet to see. We don't have. We don't have any way to prove that. We might hear something from it in a year.
I may not have spent so much time in the game, January 9th, but I have learned to love it from the very beginning I started it. The game had great potential, and sadly, the devs don't want to do anything with it anymore. I sure hope they'll come back to it or the concept of the game to make something similar. I'm going to miss Deathgarden, though the game I met many awesome people, and it was also the game I streamed first when I started streaming.
I mean, I can agree with the meeting many awesome people. There's a bunch of people now that I know that I talk to a lot, and I wouldn't have met them without Death Garden through Twitch.
And to be honest, like the Deathgarden Twitch community was super close because there wasn't a lot of people streaming it all the time. It was almost like if you knew everyone that was going to stream it.
Everyone knew who streamed, and everyone knew the frequenters of all the streams.
Yep, I play quite a bit of games like that, where it's like you pretty much know everybody that streams that one game because it's so close knit and.
If it's like less than 500 concurrent players, I'd say that it's pretty close knit. Most of the time, anyway, as long as it's a multiplayer game, I guess.
Okay, here, yep. This is the one I wanted to read you. I knew about this game's existence since as long as the beta, but fell out of its loop before the Bloodharvest chapter. Which, if anyone here obviously isn't aware, that it went through a rework and then came back out as Bloodharvest. But we're talking about Bloodharvest here.
We're talking about the end of Bloodharvest here.
Yes. I was unaware of how much changed since the beta testing days, and currently love what they've done, although hunters can be OP at times. Playing as a scavenger has consistently been fun and interesting. It's a shame that the game looks like it'll be turned off as soon as matchmaking is no longer accessible, because over the past week of my time with it, I generally think it deserves another chance. The potential and fun is there. It just needs to be balanced and advertised. Which also, did they advertise much for this game? To be honest.
I only saw like one commercial for it, and that was it. And it wasn't even a commercial. It was like a not a commercial. I meant like an ad on YouTube.
Okay.
It was during the Bloodharvest thing, and I think that was only because I had looked on it on Google and stuff, and it was pushed to me. It wasn't being pushed that hard. And also to touch on, never mind, keep going. I completely spaced out on what I was going to say. Oh
PS.
yeah, never mind. I got it. I got it back.
Go ahead, man.
So I'm sorry, brain space. So the developers, with Hell on the last one, they said that they want the developers to come back and that they gave up on it at the end. They did not. Behavior moved them to other projects, and they cannot be moved back because they were all split up as well. So if we are to get someone else working on Deathgarden, we might get one developer back, maybe two, and an entirely new team.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't see that we're not going to be getting the same people back. Be that good, be that bad, I don't know. But we're not going to be getting the exact same team that we currently technically have.
P.S. They had awesome ideas planned for this game that we never got to see. So if you agree with this review and it's not too late, play it while you can, spread the word around so maybe, just maybe, we can all be scavengers again in the future.
That one's pretty hard. Well, I don't really have much to say about that.
You crying?
We don't. No, I'm not crying. I'm good. I'm good. But the thing with they had good ideas and we didn't get to see it. We didn't know about the ideas. How are we supposed to know about the future of a
So
game when they don't
did they
tell
say
us?
things like we have things in the works though? Did they give you an idea that they had something cool coming though?
They would say we have. They wouldn't really say much. They would never give us a hint about what was coming next. It's basically just implied they had more stuff to work on. It wasn't like directly stated in their patch notes. It wasn't directly stated what they were going to work on next. We never knew what we were going to get for every patch.
And then this is
And
my Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, like how once the game became free, we got 3 new maps. We got that new guy that's chilling out in the waiting room, which we don't really know anything about, and then a bunch of just random
Sherlock
skins
Holmes, that shit.
with
Who
everyone
is he?
says
Why
that
was he
it's
there?
everyone says he might be the next, might have been the next scavenger, but we don't know. But the skins that we got were without masks. Was pretty much most of the characters without their masks. But like the skins didn't have much to them. They were basically just recolors of other skins
Oh,
that they
that's
had.
another thing, man, that we didn't cover. I'm not going to go too much into it now at this point, but there was a lot of people saying, "Wow, $30 for a DBD masks, awesome."
Yeah, that's how. If you want to view it that way, go ahead. If you didn't play the game and you spent $30 for a Meg mask, that's on you.
Oh, and a trapper mask. Don't you forget that.
I up $30 for 2 masks. They're all wrong.
Okay, this is my favorite one of all the positive reviews. So the world went down the toilet except for a few cities, and the only way is to pay in blood. God knows what they do with all the blood, but whatever. Probably a bunch of vampires anyway.
I mean, we don't know.
Like, where's the
We
blood
all
going?
we all kind of thought that like the Death Garden was technically a procedurally generated area. The blood could be real. The blood could be fake. It could have been. It could just be recycled back into the posts.
And then you have people that are appreciative, you know what I mean? Like, thanks to the devs, I enjoyed the game for hours I spent on it, upwards and onwards, guys, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that actually.
Yeah, a lot of people enjoyed the game. I'm going to say this. I spent the $15 to get the game on the re-release. I didn't play the original, but I did play the day that it came out with Bloodharvest. I put 400 plus hours in the game, and I don't regret the money that I spent on it. I'm not going to be one of those people. I want my money back. No, I spent
Or that
time on
they
the
owe
game.
you something.
They don't owe me anything. Well, They should have, at the time, they owed me a roadmap so that I knew what the hell they were doing, so that I could at least understand that they were doing something. But that's long gone. They did what they did. We can't change that. It was a great game while it lasted. I enjoyed everything. I don't want my money back.
And also,
400 hours is definitely enough to say I had fun.
don't shut the game down. It's better than DBD.
It's better than DVD. Yes, it is. Even though that there are so many game-breaking bugs, like drones going into immortal spots or stuff like that. But still better than DVD.
I mean, there's
Because
probably
DVD
people
is
that
broken.
are pretty damn upset and depressed because they wanted to play this, but now they got to go back to DBD.
Well, I mean, half the community, from what I could tell, the community split up three ways. One third went back to DVD, which I can't really say anything against. I mean, if you're in the ASIM area, you went back to DVD. It's like it's the only other main option until we get a few more games that are in ASIMs. A
Another guy
third went to
actually
Death.
said that it reminds him of playing Evolve, which I did play a little bit of Evolve.
I didn't. I looked into it. I heard that the ratings were pretty bad, so I just kind of
It
stayed away
wasn't it
from it.
wasn't for me. I enjoyed it. It was all right. Like it was a game that I did play a couple here and there. I wasn't like huge into it, but it was actually pretty decent. And I could see where he's coming from with that, kind of.
I can't really say much about it. I
I mean,
didn't
the
play
guy's got
Evolve.
73 hours on record on Deathgarden too, so I could definitely see that he probably got addicted to shit out of Deathgarden because of that.
Well, the games were only 8 minutes long, so that means he
Yeah.
probably played a couple hundred games. Well, 10 minutes long, I guess. Unless he played Lobby Simulator for 70 hours.
Okay, actually quite upset that this game is going offline. I wish this game got more money invested into advertisement or open sourced, yet I can understand why BDI doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, the game should have had more advertising. While I wanted them to fix the issues before they advertised, I think that they should have had any sort of advertising, any sort of marketing. They have another game, Dead by Daylight, that had tens of thousands of players constantly. And it's not going to cost them money to put an ad of their own game into their own game.
The cream of the crop. Because
Okay.
again, here we fucking go. Pros, fun spin of the Dead by Daylight. What?
Huh?
Pros, fun spin of
Just
the
break.
Dead. He said fun spin of the Dead by Daybreak, but I was trying to read it as a Dead by Daylight, but it fucked me up. But it says the Dead by Daylight game, but with guns. The scenes in the game had a little depth to them. Didn't take too long to pick up how to play each role character. No pay to win items. The cons, lots of scav and hunter exploiting. Which, do you know anything about the exploits?
Uh, Physical exploits in games, I didn't know many of them. Early on, there were a few. Like, there was areas that if you got knocked underneath as a scavenger, you couldn't get killed. You were just there. Um, but XP farming, yes, there was a lot of that. But there wasn't many, like, immortality exploits or, like, speed exploits. Or, there wasn't many of those. There wasn't really any.
Lots of weird core gameplay changes.
Yeah, it's probably talking about the original change of the regular mode from Bloodharvest to Harvest Your Exit.
Oh yeah, I remember how
It's
that changed, yeah.
yeah.
Advertisement wasn't spent correctly.
What do you mean advertisement wasn't spent correctly? Advertisement wasn't spent.
Didn't even last a full year.
Technically, it did. If you add beta, technically it did. It didn't last a year on re-release. It didn't last that long in re-release, but it did last a year.
This was a fun game. I had lots of laughs from it. It makes me sad to see her go, but I will say she is worth playing. The controls were nice. The pace of the game were actually, at least to me, decent. Did I mention funny moments? I ended up trying to run from someone and just ran up and down a box while the killer stood there. It was great. I died, but I laughed. Now the
Yeah, there's
map,
a lot of moments like that.
which was like it was nice for like relaxing instead of being like stressed out that you died. It was almost like funny.
Yeah, and the ragdoll made it so much better. If you're climbing up a tree, you
Oh hell
explode, you go flying across the map.
yeah.
You're not gonna not laugh. And if you
Yeah.
look at like any of the like funny moments on YouTube, I think a few people made a few compilations from Twitch streamers. I'm probably in a bunch of those, and it's just like explosions, ragdolls, weird physics, teleporting into the sky from lag spikes. Like it was a great time, even though it was a buggy mess.
Now the maps were kinda but they were fun.
Huh?
Now the maps were kinda but they were fun.
Talking like the new. When was this?
December 16th.
Probably might be talking about the 3 new maps that got added.
Now the maps
Um,
were kinda. Oh yeah, so you don't have to pay to play, so I suggest to play. Even if you
yeah.
play for 1 hour, she's a fun thing, and I'll miss her.
Well, at least try the game. You can't say that you hate the game without trying it. Goes to that 0.2 hour person that left a negative comment that probably played a single game and then ran away from the game because it required more than running around in circles with a hunter behind them, with a killer behind them.
Mind you, did have to stop playing because IRL, and it's been a long time since I seen her. But let's give her a goodbye.
A lot of people also said that. It's one of the main causes of people leaving. You can't have a consistent player base with the exact same players.
And the last one, shutting down a good game. This sucks. Always happens, but games that come out with garbage devs that don't care about their games or player base always seem to be stay relevant. But of course, you got the people that something about the game because they suck. Oh, bitch, probably. Bitch about the game because they suck and it doesn't get the rep it deserves. Oh well, what can you do?
Refer to back things that or past things that I said about the devs. Like I I think that the devs tried and then they stopped trying, or they just didn't know what they were doing with the game. That's all I can really say.
So with that being said, that's gonna end the first topic. I know this was kind of cringeworthy, guys. We're getting our feet in the water here, dude. We haven't done this before. What the fuck? Like I haven't. I've never tried to do a podcast. Either has he.
I no, we don't know what we're doing. We're doing it.
Yeah. So bear with us. Hopefully it will get better over time. And yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
This was a great walk down memory lane. That's all I can say.
There you go. Rip Deathgarden.
Rip Deathgarden.